Hey everyone, welcome to Buzzing About Romance Happy Hour. I am so excited. Joining me for this happy hour is Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hello.
And our special guest this evening is none other than Carrie Ann Ryan. Hi, Carrie. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you. You have been on our must hang out with list, I think, since like last spring. Heather's been
Mhm.
like, and what about Carrie and Ryan? And I'm like, yeah, I know. We'll figure it out. I'll get it together. And we did. So yay! Thanks for being here. Um, I'm so excited. I have
Ew.
zero chill about this
Same.
tonight.
I'm so excited. So excited.
Um, so we are here tonight to celebrate the release of At First Meet. This is book 2 in the Montgomery Ink Legacy Series. So I will hold up the regular cover, but it's not regular. Look how spicy this is. I know, look at this. If you are part of Carrie Ann's Patreon, there are the super sexy, super
And they're
hot
bulky, so you have to like get the light just right.
Patreon covers. Yes, I love this. I am obsessed with these clinch covers that you've done. And then
They
we have
are
discreet covers.
amazing.
And I have one that my mother can hold.
And then one your mother can hold.
At least in public, because at home, she's like, because my mom can beat me at Cards Against Humanity. So.
We need to hang out with her.
I was
I
gonna
have to say, I ordered all of the Patreon covers for the books I have because, of course, I had to have them. And they arrived and they were sitting on my kitchen table. And my son is like, "What? I'm just gonna put this one underneath. Like, who needs to see that?" And then he like gets to the next one and he's like, "Oh my God, they all are like this." He's like, "Mom," and I'm like, "I know, aren't they beautiful? I love them. I can't wait to show them off." It's
So
like,
what
what's
we
wrong with you?
what we did with the Patreon is we wanted the main, we call them the main cover. We wanted the main cover, which is on brand and fun and can still be on Amazon. So you'll notice that the A and the F are strategically placed over certain parts of his body because you can't show that. Or like it's guys with clothes and suits. And then we wanted a special edition that's other people call it discreet. Like we wanted the one that just for fun and we get to play with art. But then when I built the Patreon, I asked all of y'all, okay, do we want to go another fun art project or do we want to go like we'll get banned from Amazon? And not a single person said other art project. You all said like I didn't have to like Photoshop this part out.
yeah,
You know?
ban me from Amazon every time.
Mhm.
But
And
I'm an old school. I collect old school clinch covers, like the old Joanna Lindsay's, the old Jude Devereaux's. I collect those. So anything that gives me sexy embrace, I'm in.
exactly. And like when I my cover artist, her name is JC. Yes, and so we've done because we've recovered almost all of my covers together. So we've done at least 200 covers together, maybe more. We actually did one today. Like, and I was like, I want you to just have fun. And so she was like, got it. And so the Google, like the image search for her was fun, and our Gmail is probably being searched right now. So.
Yeah. I don't use incognito. Everyone's like, don't you use incognito? And I'm like, no. Like, I
They know.
learned last weekend, I was reading a Lila DuBois, one of her BDSM checklist books, and I learned what figging is. And I cannot tell you right now on the live stream, but I will tell you all later. Um,
I learned what it was on a panel with Lexi Blake and Christopher Rice. And I have a framed photo of Christopher Rice going like when he learned live on a panel at a book signing what that is.
I would actually have loved to see that. That would be, I'm down for that.
right?
It was
Right.
I was bright red like a tomato. Bright.
So I like, but I don't use incognito mode. I just full out search. Just,
I mean, I dictate my books, so with sometimes with the windows open by accident. So I mean, people are gonna hear.
I feel like that every spring and summer when my kids were little and the first couple times the windows are open and all the neighbors hear what a fishwife I am as I scream at everybody in my house all the time. But,
That or my audiobooks. It's not me. Oh, I am screaming at the cats because they're like four toddlers per all the time.
I actually accidentally was listening to one of your audiobooks. I was listening to Satan in Ink. And I forgot to put my headphones on, and my 16-year-old comes around the window on the door, and he's like, "Really, Mom?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry." He went
Stated
to chapter.
a Polly Menage MMF book.
Yeah, those are my
Um,
jam.
The Runaway Bride and the Best Friends.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. Okay, let me get through all this stuff and then we can actually like start the conversation.
Sorry.
No, it's good. I like it this way better. Okay, so like I said, tonight we are here to celebrate the release of At First Meet. This is book 2 in the Montgomery Ink Legacy Series. For all of those hanging out and watching along, you can read these as standalones. You can actually just start
Yes.
with Bittersweet Promises and go right into At First Meet if you want kind of a shorter series, because there's going to be 4 books in Legacy Ink, correct? Oh,
There's just 4 up for because I can only do a pre-order a year out. So there's gonna be way more.
Oh, I
There's
love how you surprise us in the best ways possible, Carrie.
I'm
Ann.
not sad about this, but now I have so many questions.
yes, because like you've met a few cousins
Yeah.
and siblings that are all, need to sequentially fall in love.
This does not make me sad.
No, this
Um,
is not a 4 or 5 book series.
I
okay,
don't
well,
think she
we
has
are
it in her to
skipping.
do that.
We're skipping her bio. You can find it on the website or in the show notes of this live stream. Rules of the night. Ask all the questions in the chat. We'll do our best to answer them. You'll find all the links in the description of this video to connect with Carrie Ann. Make sure you are following, liking, and subscribing, and someone at the end of the night will win some swag from us. And I have duplicates of the covers, so y'all might get something lucky. Okay, is anyone drinking anything special tonight? I'm drinking a Rockstar. I needed caffeine. It's been a long Monday.
Sparkling water, because I
Topo
finished
Chico.
I almost brought my Topo Chico, but this one was already open.
There you go. I like a good Topo Chico.
Mhm.
Do you know it's really good with tequila and lime juice? FYI, in case anyone wants.
I don't drink during the week, so it's me and my and I gave up soda on the 1st of January, and I haven't had it. I had like 3 sips of a Coke on the way back because I couldn't get coffee, and I had a 5-hour drive for my book signing, so I bought a soda, and I was like, oh, so yeah, I just drove without caffeine. Sorry, guys.
Wow.
I don't know how you did that. I live and die by coffee. Like, usually it's about a pot to a pot and a half every day in the
I
morning.
do 1 espresso pot a day into my protein shake. I had to cut back, so now I'm just addicted to bubble water.
That's okay.
I would actually give my firstborn child for Dr. Pepper. Like, I love Dr. Pepper.
I
Don't
could
tell my son though.
sit
He'd be
in
sad.
like a Diet Coke and just hold it and love it and never let it go, but I gave it up cold turkey.
Good for you.
I know. I
Go.
don't,
You have the power. Like, I don't have the will strength like that.
well, I fell in love with bubble water, so I really don't know.
I like Walmart has their Sam's Choice that has some like light flavoring that's sugar free, and I really like those. There's like key lime and they have a strawberry daiquiri one that's really good. I do like those. Everyone's like, "Oh, Amanda Grace is drinking wine on a Monday." You go, Amanda. I am proud of you.
No, I live alone with 4 cats, so I had to tell myself I can't drink alone in my house during the week. Like that's my rule because I am the cat lady.
Yeah. It's a little less scary. I mean, if you walked around in a bathrobe with a constant cup of coffee, the neighbors would talk.
Or just
Probably.
my witch cloak,
Your witch cloak.
a goblet of wine.
Oh, Lindsay looked up figging and dropped her headphones in the tea.
Oh my gosh.
You're so welcome,
We
Lindsay.
do that on incognito, is what we do.
Or don't.
Or don't. Live dangerously.
Your Facebook ads are going to be very scary from now on.
I like to do the random stuff, especially searching like books on our Amazon account because I share it with my husband. And sometimes he'll look up stuff at work and Amazon will pull up and it's like half naked people and weird things.
Taken by the T-Rex is like the first one. I think.
Well, somebody told me the balloon animal shifter book that I read this fall, the audiobook is out now, and book 2 is coming this spring. I did not know this.
Well, now Amazon does to let your husband know.
Yeah. Anyway, I was like, look, I have an Audible
Balloon
credit.
animal. My
Balloon
God.
animal shifter.
I love authors. We get to have so much fun.
It's bonkers, but it's worth the read. I'm telling you. Um, okay, Carrie, let's get to know you just a little bit. You write contemporary romance and PNR. Is there a subgenre of romance you would like to write but you haven't yet?
Um, dark. I want to go dark.
Okay, sign me up because I'm in my dark era.
We're
Yeah.
in.
So I can't go dark as Carrie Ann, but I can't say anything.
Okay.
Oh no, what is this? Is this sparkling water I need to drink right now when we go on?
Wow. Again, Carrie, you have left us speechless twice in a matter of like 5 minutes. And that to do that to Becky and I is so
I
like
win.
unheard of.
Like
So
this
you
never
win.
happens.
I want to go dark. Um, like my hashtag in life is consent is sexy, but I want to go dark and have fun and write that I haven't, you know. I
When
have
you do,
like on the side for fun during COVID, I wrote a few alien romances too that I haven't published just to see if I could and I had fun with it, but I'm not ready to publish them yet and it would have to not be me. Because I scare people with my books. Like with the amount of books, I can't add any more genres to me.
Okay, but just, we'll follow. Just FYI.
Yeah, it
Like,
won't be secret. Like it'll be like, by the way.
I mean, we're already paying to be your friends. Like,
I mean, there is that.
this is who we are.
I love you.
We love you. Oh, we love you. Like, I told
just-
you.
I'm so baffled by the amount of books you have. And then you're just like, oh, yeah. And by the way, like, I was just bored. So I wrote a couple like alien romance that's just hanging around here. What? I mean, you're back. Like, that's impressive. I just think we need to take a moment to recognize just
Like
how
I
impressive
said,
that is.
4 cats. I live alone and I don't have a social life anymore.
Me
Like I
neither.
moved down here right before lockdown.
Mm.
So like I didn't all of my friends don't live here. Yeah, so I'm really good with the Zoom.
We can hang out anytime, Carrie. If you just need someone to, like,
On a weekend I'll have wine or whiskey, don't worry.
okay, we are big whiskey drinkers. And actually, Texas is on our list of trips to go to because my husband is obsessed with the whiskey guys that are down near Austin. They have the
Like the Jensen Eccles area?
the what?
Like the Jensen Eccles area?
Yeah. My sister lives in San Antonio, and these guys, they have the whiskey vault, which is, and then they do like, they have a whiskey, the Whiskey Tribe is the name of the YouTube channel. And they have the Crowded Barrel is their crowdsourced whiskey label.
I live here in San Antonio.
I didn't know you lived in San Antonio. Oh,
Yeah, so okay, I just heard whiskey in San Antonio, so I'm happy.
yeah.
Like, I'm down.
It's, yes,
Amanda Grace is also like, I love the Whiskey Tribe.
they're so fun. And my husband, so as lockdown happened, he started collecting whiskey. And my dad was always a bourbon drinker. And I will never forget the first time my husband hung out with my dad. He put Crown Royal in Coke, and my dad about cried. He's like, what are you doing? Please stop it. I'm also the kid that grew up with Maker's Mark was my cough syrup as a kid.
And when
Um,
we do Readers on the River, we go on the bourbon tour and do all those. So
I will be at Readers on the River this year.
really,
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite signings. It's so like it's intimate and it's nice. And
Yeah. I was lucky enough, Sawyer Bennett and Lisa invited me to be their guest this year, to come. So I'm so excited. But my husband is like, I'm just going to drink bourbon. And I was like, maybe you should ask the Gunkles if they want to come with you. And you and the Gunkles can go drink bourbon while I'm at the romance signing.
If he wants to try brandy, the best place that I've been there is a brandy distributor. In this town. I know, as I'm like, hi, I have books, but let me discuss Louisville's bourbon. Like,
Yeah. My mother is going to San Antonio next week, so she wanted to let you know she'll be in San Antonio next week. But she's a wine drinker and she's a little crazy, but we love her.
Is she going to Fredericksburg for all the wineries?
Um, I'm not sure what she's going to do. She's there for the month of March, to see my sister and her husband. I don't know what they do.
Well, there's wineries here.
She drinks a lot of wine. She's probably downstairs in her basement apartment drinking all the wine right now.
So Carrie and Susie wants to know how dark. Like, are we talking? Are we talking mafia? We're intriguing
Sex
minds want
clubs?
to know.
So
Serial
see.
killers? Stalkers? Kidnapping?
We'll see.
Okay.
I like a good kidnapping.
I like it.
I'm a big
I
fan
know.
of the kidnapping.
My
Yeah.
mom's like taking notes of like, okay, so what's she gonna talk with her therapist?
Okay, so
I
like,
want to do something I haven't put in Montgomery books and things. So I like to hit you with the emotion and like tear your heart out, and then also have against the door. Like my characters are rarely in bed. It's always against doors and tables and chairs and couches. So, I mean, I write hot, so I want to go hotter and darker, and just for fun.
sign me up.
Mhm.
Like, I
Yeah.
am there.
I actually have a special project that I started plotting today that'll be under this name, and that I can't talk about yet, other than it is like preparing. It's like dipping my toes into what I get to do. So I'm excited.
Very fun.
I can't say anything other than that.
She's
I
just
know.
like dangling the carrots and we're like along for the ride.
I think it's harder for her than it is us because you can tell she's like
I
really
want to say it all, but
Oh,
I legally can't for some things. But
right. I don't want you to get in trouble, but we
I
also
do
like to
like
be spoken to.
125 other books I can talk about.
right. Well, let's talk
Let's do
about
that.
At First Meet. But before we get to First Meet, May's book is coming out, but that's under the 101 Dark Nights, right? Or 1001?
1001 Dark Nights.
1001 Dark Nights.
1001 Dark Nights, if anyone doesn't know, it's a group of authors that Liz Berry, Jillian, and MJ Rose work with. And once or twice a month, they release a novella where it's a taste test. So if you've never read me before or any other of these authors before, it's a taste test of the world. So it's a complete standalone. It's usually like a side character that would never have gotten a story. Like I wouldn't have had time or the offer in order to write May's story. I didn't mean to meet. So May is the nanny from Bittersweet Promises, and she's also an accidental first date of Bittersweet Promises in this series. And I was like, I love her. How can I write her? She does not fit in my plans for the next 2 years. And 1001 Dark Nights is like, well, let's write her. And so she comes out in 2 weeks.
So
Yeah, like the
excited.
timing on that was a little
That's okay. That's okay because she was so sweet and funny in Bittersweet
Mhm.
Promises. And, she really Leaf was kind of a jackass on that first date. But she was never like mean or grouchy to him. Like she wasn't. And she
and
so could have been.
just wasn't like you just know. And so, and it's also like he's like, I didn't want to be on this blind date, but is and then he also didn't like the guy Lake was with at this date. So he's more
Mhm.
worried about the fact that his cousin is with a guy he doesn't really like. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm on a date, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And which, leads into the fact that we don't like the guy Lake was with.
We do
We hate
not.
him.
And at the end of Bittersweet Promises, you about freaking broke us there
Yes.
because it sets up this book.
Yes.
And again, as I fit, you like to do that to us in these epilogues. They're not even epilogues, they're last chapters.
Yes.
And I'm like,
And then like the first chapter of the next book.
Yeah, so I write a chapter where everyone's happy and it's a Montgomery dinner and there's cheese and we're healing. I love you. Am I getting engaged?
they
And
do
there's
love their
bonus
cheese.
epilogue. I love cheese so much. There's a bonus epilogue too that has like it's a beautiful story, but then you know, it's like back in the original Montgomerys, like Alex is married and he's happy, and you see Miranda and Decker at their marriage and they're happy, and then you see Alex picking up his first drink of the night, or is it his fifth or his eighth? And so it's like those teasers of, like, I see these characters and I see that, is this who they think they are? Is this who you need to think they are? And I want you to see it before their next book.
I think
And
what
I
I
want to rip your heart.
I think what I love, so I had read Lake's parents' book, and I didn't realize until I think there was a sentence in Bittersweet Promises that said who Lake belonged to, and I was like, oh, that's my favorite Carrie Ann Ryan book. Like, oh my God, yes. And I like, though, that now in Lake's book, we're seeing that things weren't always perfect in their marriage. That, yes, they are happily ever after and they are still together, but marriage is hard. Life is challenges, is hard. And I like that you give us this glimpse into second gen. I'm highly critical of next gen romances. Like, I get grumpy about them. And the way you do it, it works for me. Like, I do not get grumpy
Like, I
because,
get grumpy, and like I'm never going to like break up the original characters. There's never going to be cheating. Like that HEA is set. Like I'm never going to change that. But it's also like, and my characters, I'm never going to make them bad parents either. Like I can't do that to an H. That's breaking an HEA. That's changing the person. But it's also, maybe these aren't bad parents, but some, like, how did parenting affect them? And like Lake was adopted at 10, just like Leaf was. Like, didn't mean to do two adoptions in a row, but that's just, I needed to get the older ones out of the way because the next set were only like 18, because there was like a 10 to 15-year gap.
hmm,
So there's a time jump of 5 years between book 2 and 3,
okay.
because Sebastian is book 3 and he's only 18, well, 19 at the end of At First Meet. So, and I wasn't ready to write a 19-year-old, especially when I got the cover and I'm like, that's not a 19-year-old on the cover. So,
So you said it's 5 years, so the
yeah, it's
baby
a
is now
5 year.
5.
Yes.
Susie wants to know if you'll ever kill someone off
Like in general, no, not in life, but in books.
in books. I mean, like your characters are real.
Like,
So,
as you next gen, like if you wrote a next gen, would you have like someone have lost?
Um, all of the Montgomerys are going to survive. I'm not going to kill Maya or any of them. I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to kill Harry, who had cancer in the original Montgomerys, because that was a promise I made to myself when 3 months into writing Harry's story, my father-in-law got the same cancer, and I felt like I did it. It was weird, emotional time, and so I'm not going to write that. And so they'll survive. I don't know about any of the other Montgomery great grandparents,
Yeah.
but because I have literally, I'm not saying I don't know. It's like I don't know. Um, but no, the originals I'm not going to, because I don't want to. I don't want to break that. Like I like
yeah.
maybe, yeah, like I can see, like I remember Nora Roberts back in the day did like the historical McGregors,
Yeah.
right? And so that's different. So like there's the historical McGregors, there's the originals, and then there's the next gen. And so she never killed anyone other than the ones from the 1800s.
Right.
Yeah, and so I won't do that. So they're safe.
Okay, that makes
So
my
you
heart
can that's my
happy.
promise. That
That's
makes
good. We
Yeah, no,
like
they're
that
safe.
answer.
Like none of the parents got divorces. Um, well, I mean, what if I did and then I wrote their second chant? No.
I mean,
Ooh,
you can do that. I mean, look how pretty these pages are. You guys,
so pretty.
I'm
And I try to make it
obsessed with
work
these
with the
books.
book itself, because that is her the petals of her floating away.
Yeah. Um, what inspired you to write tattoo artists?
So I had my first 35 books were paranormal. So I wrote, there's an outside conflict and a side conflict, and then the paranormal conflict of the big bad, or they're fighting their shifter or their magic. And so when I was like, how am I going to write contemporary? I need something else to write that is like, what are they going to fight? And it's going to be that growly part. And so I wanted to write blue collar because my best friend at the time when she was writing, she's no longer writing anymore, but she was writing like billionaires, and I didn't want to write the same thing as her just because it felt like cheating, or like stealing. It isn't. We all write the same things in different ways, but I was like, I'm going to try to write blue collar, and so I was like, I want to write. I have tattoos, and I wanted to write like a big family who works together. And so I liked the idea of some of them in construction and some of them in tattoos. And so with Montgomery Ink Legacy, we're going to have some in the tattoo shop, some in the security business, some in a construction business, and some in another business coming up. And
Well,
I
I thought
might
it
like mini series and a big series.
I had to laugh when in First Meet when they were talking about coffee, because again, coffee drinker, and they were like, maybe we could just get them to open a shop across the street. And I was like, are we foreshadowing?
The blurb of longtime crush.
I am not a blurb reader. There is my dirty reading secret. I am not a blurb reader.
I only read the blurb to look for names.
I don't. But some authors don't even put the names of the characters in blurbs.
And because I'm writing in first person on the blurbs, I don't have names on some of these. And so now, like, all over my website, it's like, this is May's book. This is like, I have to like really make sure people know. And
How did I just notice that from your discrete covers, the circle is on the back?
yeah, so the discrete covers have this geometric, and then has
Yeah.
this on the. We've tied it together, and so the first two of these have the stars like. Actually, yeah, the first two of these have the stars like these, and then all the stars will be different from now on. We're going to do different constellations for each of the 15 books.
Okay.
So you're telling us basically is that we are going to get 3 covers. You're going to have 3 books of an unknown number
Well,
of this series, which is fine. I just need to know how many books.
we'll always have two. We'll always have two, which is JC, my cover artist, is like doing this. As long as this doesn't implode, yes, we'll always have these. Like, what if Patreon goes out of business, or what if, that's all.
Then we will stock you for those covers.
I know, and then I'm going through my store. Like, don't worry, there will be 3 of each from now on.
I was going to say, don't
don't
tease me about Patreon, because I'm like, I tell everybody almost every book club, best Patreon. And here I am, like, have my own Patreon, but best Patreon. Join Carrie Ann Ryan's. It's the best.
Well, like, and then I have guilt. I'm like, I'm not giving them enough. So now I'm for sure only writing 1 short story a month. And then I'm like, well, what if I write a second? So sometimes I write a second if I have time. Like, if I'm doing book conferences during the month, I probably can't do a second because I'm physically not home to do it.
Right.
Right.
Okay, Susie wants to know how many total books for the Aspen Pack?
5.
5, Susie. Lindsay, she's single-handedly recruiting every reader to the Carrie Ann Ryan Patreon.
Okay, so do you want to be? You're part of Team Carrie Ann now. You're the ambassador.
That's fine. I will take that title.
Yeah, so there's going to be 5 books in the series. That does mean not everybody's going to get an HCA yet, but I am having trouble writing paranormal romance right now. I say that, and I'm plotting the last book tomorrow. Like, that's my whole day, is sitting and plotting it, and I'm having a hard time. It's the series that I started writing paranormal romance with my husband. Like, I was like when we were sitting next to each other working on our thesis, like, I was writing that too. And so and I was writing a paranormal romance when he coded. Like, those are the things that go on my brain, and so sometimes it's really hard for me to go back into it. And so I thought I could do it after a 3-year break, and I really can't. And so I'm going to end it at 5 books. Like the big bad is going to be ended at 5 books, and if I'm emotionally ready, I might go back and write a few more. Like I have covers for more,
Mm.
but I'm not going to do it for a bit.
Isn't it interesting how things are so associated to where you were in your life and what you're doing? And for me, books have always been my outlet. And I have my eldest, my boy child, has major health issues. And I spent a lot of weeks, big chunks of days and time in the hospital with him. And it was just him and I, because we were in Cleveland and I lived 3 hours from Cleveland. So it was just him and I. And I will pick up a book that I read during the time I was in the hospital with him. And maybe it was during a rough go. And you have those emotions back and you're like, okay.
Like the first time he went to the hospital was our wedding day that we had to cancel, and I picked up Twilight for the first time to wait, and that's what started my love of reading romance. The second time was my first. I wrote Trinity Bound sitting next to my husband, and between my husband and my mother-in-law, I wrote a DP scene, of so like that's like I can write anywhere now, and and then so it's just those are what goes in my brain. So it's probably why my paranormal series are a little violent, and I do off people and unalive them often in them and bring them back because I couldn't bring him back, so I bring them back in paranormal.
Yeah.
And so it's
Jenny says book PTSD is real.
Mhm.
oh yeah, totally. And so instead of writing more Aspen Pack books, I made up another series for next year called the First Time series. And you're going to meet the first one's up for premiere now. The first one's called Good Time Boyfriend, and everything is about a first time.
Good Time Boyfriend. Oh yeah, it comes out January 22nd, 2024. So this is probably the perfect time to say this. I was reading the book and I needed to kind of have a family tree. So of course Googled Carrie Ann Ryan family tree, blah blah, and your website came up. And if you have never ever visited Carrie Ann's website, do yourself a favor, grab a cup of coffee, whatever, and then you're gonna get lost because her website is phenomenal. It's probably one of the best I've seen, and it's very visual. So if you're a visual person like me and you like notice books because of covers, this is just the website.
So the goal with it is I want it interactive. So you have like um so Austin and Sierra were the originals, they're Delicate Ink. And so you have their names and you can click each of their names and it goes right to their character page. And the older ones have a lot more stuff on the character page. The newer ones I need to go back in and add more like their traits and things, but sometimes like their traits have changed or their ages. Austin is no longer 35. Like and but then if it so on the family tree, it's by age, and it's each set of the cousins, and then there's friends of the Montgomerys on the bottom that aren't part of the family tree. So all the novellas. But then Leaf has his own book, and you can click that, and it goes to the book or the characters, and so you can see all I think 52 Montgomery Ink kids are on the tree, and if so Jake Gallagher married Maya and Border in Ink Enduring, and Jake just happened to have three single brothers with beards. And so if you click Jake, you look at his family, you're like, wait, he has these three brothers. You click his brother Graham, and suddenly you're on the Gallagher brother family tree.
Um, okay, May's book, we know her hero.
Leo,
And hi, these character pictures.
let me go see what I had him look like.
Whew.
Are you scrolling
Oh.
her website? Why
Oh
were
yeah, I am.
Oh yeah, I love them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
By the way, also, I am out. I am out. There's no more photos out there of random, like, men with beards or just random attractive men that aren't like holding like a like, random like thing.
So do you want us to, like, when we're out in
Recruit?
public, like, just ask people if we could take their picture and then send them to you?
Yeah, well, see, I have to legally own these photos to put them on my website.
Okay, well, I'll
Have
get
to-
a sheet that'll
Like
let me
a
have.
release.
Yeah, I'll get a legal contract. I know lots of
Do
men
your
with
well.
beards. So our local brewery in December, the first Sunday of December, after No Shave November, they have a beard competition.
Okay, so I have a photography release form. You can just bring a stack.
I will just take a stack next December and sit at the beard competition at the brewery and drink beer and take pictures.
So
And
I
also, like, sorry, can you take your shirt off? We need to see if you have tattoos. That'd be great.
I
Thank
can
you so
add
much.
those. That way that we can give them their own privacy and have that for the imagination. Because like when I write, I don't picture faces. It's it's just my brain. I picture emotions when I'm writing. So I don't picture faces. So I need that. So I'm like, okay, so she has this.
Jenny, Becky, challenge accepted. Yeah, I'm all good with asking strange men if I can take their picture. You have a lovely beard. My friend Carrie, she writes romance and needs inspiration. Can I take your picture?
Hmm.
I am that I am that insane, just so we're all very clear. Not that
We
there
all
was ever a
know.
question. I am that insane that I would totally do it.
I love it.
Like,
So the book's called Happily Ever Never. That is May and
Yep.
Leo's. And so the art, I didn't want people in it because it's based off of this cover with the gold
Mm.
and the lights. And so that's why it looks the way that it does. So we had fun with it.
can I also tell you, and this is totally off topic, and we will get back to Nick and Lake here in just a second. I'm obsessed with the Wilders. Like, obsessed with these men and the women. And I have to tell you, so one of the reasons that like Sawyer Bennett is a top author for me is she writes great girl gangs, like these sisterhoods that come out of, friendship and shared love and all those things. You are giving her a run for her money with the women of the Wilder series.
So I try to do it with each of my series in which like I know I'm gonna I call it girl time and guy time.
Mhm.
Then there's cheese time. Like there's in each one. There's and so the Wilders, it accidentally had became a commune almost on this property because everyone was living there at first. And like they're starting to move off and get married, but they all work there pretty much.
Mhm.
And so the girls are always there in this like fictional staff room with wine from Wilder Wines and cheese.
I want to go to a wine tasting with them. Like,
Yeah.
They're so much fun, and I love them so much that like I knew when I wrote it, I was like, I'm going to make sure that they have uncles and aunts that may have had kids
Mm.
because the Wilders aren't going to end at book 6.
Best news all day long.
just
Woohoo!
And
Yay.
I already know, I don't actually know who they are yet, but I know what I need to do with them. And I know that there's going to be 2 menages in the series.
Speaking my love language right there.
And there's going to be a novella that I already put it in my group, but it's called A Wilder Wedding. And somebody's getting married. Excuse me, Kat. Thank you. Somebody's getting married, but it's not just about the Wilders getting married. It's about Naomi and Amos. So the innkeeper and the winemaker who
yeah.
have been dancing since
Who have been
book 1.
kind of dancing around each other.
And the only reason I haven't written them because I haven't had time, and because one of my best friends is Naomi. She
Mhm.
comes with me to book signings. She works for Gina Showalter and Presley Cole, and I was like, I'm gonna name this character after her, and like she even looks like her. Like I put Naomi in a book, and now I might have to write her. So we had to be okay with me writing her.
Um,
Like I never put people in books, and then I did it, and I'm like, oh no, I have to write this book, and I'm gonna have to break you and make you do things.
that's so funny.
So you're saying you don't ever want to name a character after like somebody you know because it's
Yeah,
maybe
because
not.
I dictate too, so I'm going to like write in Amos's point of view, like, oh Naomi, like
I do have to tell you, so we do some work with Lyric Audio, and Katie speaks highly of you And she's like, "Have you chatted with Carrie yet?" And I was like, "No, she's on her list. We're going to chat with her at the end of February." And she's like, "Oh." She goes, "She likes to spill tea too." So you are totally holding up to what Katie told us.
Well, I told myself what I was allowed to tell you.
Okay.
That's like the end of it. But no, so the Wilders will not be at book 6. I think there's 10.
This does not make me sad at
Like, well,
all.
the thing also is I have a lot of series. I think I have 16 series.
The fact that you don't even know is the most amazing thing ever. That's awesome.
I have 22 series, including the new ones.
You're like up there with Shayla Black.
Yeah, and it's because I did, like the like the very long Montgomerys is a tree, right? Think of it,
Mhm.
all the cousins and all the original Denvers, they're the trunk, and then all the little branches are the. So I did a bunch of 3-book branches because I'm like, I can't have everybody have 8 brothers. That's just like at some point, we're hitting. It's weird, and so I did a bunch of 3-book series, and so now I was like, you know what? Let's not scare you with some new ones. Let's stay with the Wilders that we love and stay with the legacy that we love. But the first times are only going to be 3 times.
I do think the first time I read a Montgomery book, I go, "Ooh, I think these people are Catholic." Because there were so many siblings. And I'm Catholic. I was raised Catholic, very Catholic family. My husband's grandmother, she had 16 siblings. Like there are tons of them. So Catholic. But yeah, like the first time I read it, I was like, this family might be
I'm
Catholic.
pretty sure, well, most of my characters are bisexual and most are Wiccan. Like, not Wiccan, but like pagan or atheist, just because I don't tend to put.
Right. Well, yeah.
But, the whole, yeah, I could see that.
They like to
Or,
procreate.
my dad would say these people need to find a new hobby. That's what my dad would say. He says that about our neighborhood. He's like, you guys all need to find a new hobby because
Like,
all it is making kids. And I'm like,
the best
all
part
right.
is like I don't have children, and Dan and I were very like when we got married, like we're not going to have kids. We really like who that's just not something in our thing. I ended up a cat lady with 4 cats, like I said, and I keep writing like all these babies, and so all of my friends who have babies, I'm like, so what happens during this month? Like, I'm like, you have a 5-year-old. Is it talking yet? Is it dating? What's it doing?
Is it talking?
No, we're going to kindergarten.
What
Is
do
what we're
those
doing.
things do at this time?
What is it doing? Like, I don't know. And so, but then like I made sure that I have many, not many, I think like probably 10 couples purposely don't want children.
I love that.
Well,
And it's just because an HE, and sometimes they don't get married, but they're going to live
I
together
love that.
for their days. And like my poly menages, they legally can't get married.
so
So it's, they have commitment ceremonies if they have to. And Lauren Dane actually did a bunch of research on like the paperwork that needs to happen for the kids if they have 2 dads and a mom. And so like we worked on that to make sure that I'm actually going to touch on that in Best Friend Temptation. He is a kid of a poly family and he's going to be in a poly relationship. Because Noah is going to have a boyfriend and a girlfriend.
I love this for Noah. This makes me so happy. Well,
Too. Like Noah Montgomery Gallagher is going to have another person. And I to make things really complicated for all of us, just
Yeah.
the way that the characters worked out. So Noah Montgomery Gallagher, who his family spun off, like his dad spun off a series, he's going to be with Ford, who is going to have brothers. And then he's going to be with Greer, who has 3 brothers. So this book is going to spin off 2 different series.
When is that coming out? Which one is that?
Best Friend Temptation comes out this year.
October 30th of 23. I'm looking at the website.
And the cover
But
reveal
that's
is
one, two, that's 6 more books. Like you're gonna keep us tied over. You have one April, May, July, August, September, October, December, and January so far.
And maybe one more this year.
Friend, you can take
We're,
a
I
vacation.
mean,
I
you,
did. Actually, I used to do 12 a year. Now I'm only at 9.
when did you start writing?
2011.
What? That's, that, wow.
Well,
That is seriously impressive.
I'm looking at her fantastic fiction page and I'm like, okay, the Redwood Pack. I haven't read those. I have read Dante's Circle.
Like, I don't think that's even fully correct yet. That one is.
No,
Like,
they have the pre-orders up for first time and everything.
yeah, no, I did. So on my coming soon page, like I have it, and then I have like a paragraph of this is what I'm working on, so that way you know it's coming.
I'm I am
I update my website like every day because I'm constantly like fiddling.
I did enjoy your, and I'm not usually a new adult reader, but last year you did the On My Own new adult college kids. I really liked that series.
I enjoyed writing it. That was like my question before used to be like, so what series did you, what kind of genre do you want to write? And it was new adult, and I wanted to try to write it, and I had a lot of fun with it. But I gave them like they are young, they're 19, 20, 21, 22. So it's adult problems.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Happen to be graduating college. And my favorite scene in that book is the first chapter of My Bad Decisions, which is when you realize what Tanner's job is.
Yes. Yes.
I think I need to read that.
Yes.
You-
And like I hint at it the whole time, and like nobody got it, which was great. But I hinted at it, and then his name is the same name as one of my friend's son. And she was helping me work on the promo for this book, and so she's like, I can't, no, can't do it. Like,
I hear that. There is my two boys have very popular names, and so like when I read a book with their names, I'm like, I gotta change that. Gretchen is like the amount of surprises on this live are amazing. I'm
This is
like,
amazing. Okay, so we need to spend some time on Lake and Nick because
mhm,
honestly, you guys, I really hope that you will pick this book up. The
yeah.
audiobook is also out right now also because we have a huge group of audiobook listeners.
so
So
it's Oscar Reyes and Samantha Cook, and I've worked with Samantha a few times. This is my first time working with Oscar, and he was amazing to work with and so talented.
his
And I
voice.
hadn't heard his voice before.
So we had the honor of listening and reviewing um Blind Date with a Book Boyfriend by Lucy Eden, which was the lyric audio and color winner, the first one they scholarship they ever awarded. And so Katie and Lucy gifted us a copy of that, and he is the hero in that book.
Oh, I have to pick that up.
And oh, his voice.
He did so well.
Yeah. And
He
now
got
he's new on Instagram. So if you aren't following him on Instagram, you should absolutely be following him on Instagram because he gives little voice teasers. And I'm like, sir,
so
sir.
he did such a great job, and like um he actually had to pick it up at the last minute because of just the way that like I schedule things 2 years ahead, meaning things are going to change. And so he picked it up at the last minute, and he was like, I've got this. And I was like, we've never worked together before. Here's a spreadsheet. Like, and so I just let him have fun. Like, no notes. He was great. And so I'm a huge audio listener. And so, I mean, I loved writing this book. I loved writing, this isn't spoiler because she is, she's a domestic abuse
Mhm.
survivor. She is a boss bitch. I'm now making as an expletive. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Um,
psh, listen,
uh,
it's a good night when I haven't dropped penis at this point like 17
how
times,
dare
so we're safe.
you?
Heather,
Now we did it.
you're welcome.
She is a brunette Hannah Wannington from Ted Lasso, walking in her stilettos. So she is, the boss from Ted Lasso, walking in her stilettos and getting things done and looking amazing with her Birkin bag and like,
She's
and
so smart.
she
And
is brilliant and smart, and all of her family is blue collar, and she is nearly a billionaire just because of how good she is, and she's giving it all away and making these businesses. And one of my favorite businesses she does is a vampire bar. That's a big part of the book. And I actually confused someone who'd only read like a snippet, and they're like, "Wait, are you tying this into the Aspen Pack?" I'm like, "No, no, no! It's not an actual vampire bar. Like, it's there's one in Kentucky and one in LA, and there's a big one in New Orleans where you can go and buy a blood bag of sangria."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, go. I'll give you the link to the New Orleans ones. It's amazing. And they have a great cheese board. I know you're shocked.
Your love of cheese makes my heart so happy. You have to know that, like, so my girl child loves cheese also, and we have Kroger, and they have a big fancy cheese bar, and we go and buy the fancy cheese, which is just the small end samplings of all the different kinds of cheeses. And she has weird names for them, like the crunchy cheese. So it's the cheese with like the crystals because they've done the temperature aging and stuff like that. And anyway, that's our life. Like we get excited for fancy cheese day in our house.
Two, I think 2 years ago, right at the beginning of COVID, it's almost 3 years ago, my readers and I, we had a period of mourning because I have a dairy allergy now. And so I eat cheese. I just can't eat anything else I might be allergic to. And it's not, it's my whole face breaks out into like rosacea from it. And so it's worth it
Yeah.
on occasion. So I write a lot of cheese into books, and like the Montgomerys is cheese is life is like I have stickers and t-shirts saying it and things because I can't have it anymore.
I'm
Well,
not
and you
supposed to
also
have it
have
either, so it's fair.
a lot of cheese in the Wilders, which makes sense because they have a vineyard, so they eat a
Yeah,
lot of
so like,
cheese.
but it's only with the wine. Like I'm
Mhm.
pulling back on the cheese, and I'm gonna start to add more like cured meats.
Okay.
A nice charcuterie board is not anything I would turn down.
They can make sausage jokes, and it works.
Some of those wilders would like to make the sausage joke.
Hmm.
So like Lake is his boss ass bitch again,
Yep.
that word. And Nick is like this growly tattoo artist guy, and so she owns part of the tattoo shop, but so does he.
Look at that
Mhm.
But he
face.
owns part of it too, and so does Leaf and Sebastian. Like they wanted to go in on it like their parents did. And so but every single time that Nick and Lake are in a room, they fight and they yell at each other and they're snarky. And when I first wrote them, I hoped they were going to be hero and heroine, or they were just going to hate each other. Like I didn't know if Nick was going to get a book when I first started plotting the series. And then I'm like, oh no, there's tension here. This isn't
Hmm.
it. And so the end of Bittersweet Promises, that scene, I knew exactly who was going to open the door. I knew exactly the one word that was going to hurt her to say, and I knew why I needed to write that. See, we're doing this without spoilers. It's fun. Um, and so I also wanted to write. So I was a scientist before I did this, and I still work in a field where there's many women and trans men and trans women and non-binary people who write and read romance, but there's not as many men, and it worked. Like it's beautiful. I love the fact that we all work together. But if we go to a conference with not just romance, if I go to a writing conference where there's also science fiction and mystery and stuff, it doesn't matter that I have 100 books that I've hit the New York Times. It doesn't matter that we are a huge thing. We're still, oh, you're the porn writers, or oh, and it's always that. And so I wanted Lake, like I deal with it, and so I wanted Lake to show it. And that's the setup for the whole book is she needs to go to this conference. And number one, she's not ready to date yet, especially not after everything that happened. So she's going to bring somebody with her. So I got my fake dating and my one room, one bed.
Hmm.
Which, did not make me sad. And I saw someone, they reviewed it and they said, oh, this is such a great friends to lovers. I'm like, they're frenemies. Like, there
Thanks.
is, I will protect you. I am fierce for you. But all the while, I kind of want to stab you because you annoy me.
Like I
It's
can't
the
stand you,
like
but I love you.
it's almost like I don't want to call them siblings because that's wrong, but I think everyone has that like friend or whatever where they're like I can say what I want about them, but you better back off and you don't get to mess with just, I mean, like he totally was like that with Lake. Like I can call her on her BS, but not you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you do write a lot of strong female heroines in your books. Um, do you have a favorite? Or one character, one of your heroines that's always in your mind that you're kind of like, okay, she's top tier and I need to get everybody to be
Look at the
equal.
website to make sure. So, there's certain scenes of characters that hit me. So, like when I wrote Shouldn't Have You, that was my first book about a widow since I had become a widow. So, her diary that she used to write to herself, and she would write to her late husband at the beginning of every one of her chapters to be like, I missed you today, or today we did this and I thought of you. I did that. And so that was very neat. But she was very opposite in certain ways. Like it wasn't my story, it was hers. Um, Inked Craving, the scene where is it Inked Craving? Yeah, it's Inked Craving where she is pissed off at being dumped. No, that's not Inked Craving. Sorry, that's a different one. That I'm mixing them up. This is in Reckless with You.
No, isn't ink or is it Inked Persuasion where she's
Inked Craving, she also gets dumped, but so Reckless with You is actually the one where she gets dumped because she's drinking, and Inked Craving she can't drink because she's pregnant. So, but Reckless with You, she's drunk and she's screaming the Alanis Morissette "You Ought to Know" song just in her like living room, and the hero walks in, and so that was a very me thing to do. Where I'm not going to tell anyone else my emotions, but I am going to get drunk and dance in my underwear and scream to Alanis Morissette. Um, yeah, but like the recent ones, like Lake is probably the most me I've ever written, and I
I
don't know
just
how.
love her. I just love
She's
her.
awesome.
She just she's powerful and she's kind of one of those that you're like, yep, she's my bestie. She's a book bestie. I'm totally girl crushing on her. I love her and I want to hug her and, be all the things for her.
I love how she's like this, like you said, this boss bitch. She like runs the world. And then she goes home and her sister starts making fun of her. And she's like, I'll get you back. Like totally goes into that sibling rivalry. And so like she just feels like a real person because you can be all of those things. She's a different person for everyone.
And like all of her siblings and cousins are all a lot younger than her, right? Same with Leaf. And so like Leaf made best friends with Nick because the cousins were all a bit younger. And Lake is now she's making her girl group. So May's in it and Brooke's in it. And you're going to meet Raven and Greer soon because they're going to move in next door to Sebastian.
With a
So
coffee shop.
there might be a coffee shop that's not called Taboo too, but Haley may be involved.
Hmm.
Hmm. This
So are these books written or are you writing them? And
Long
you just,
Crush is written. I just uploaded the print today. Long Time Crush is written. Happily Ever Never is written. Um, I haven't written Best Friend Temptation yet. The Wilder Brothers, book 4 and 5 are written. And the Aspen Pack, book 4 is written, and I start book 5 this week.
so in the Wilder Brothers, there's an MMF, right?
Yeah, there's going to be 2. So the first one is actually called Finding the Road to Us. And I can tell you who that's about if you'd like.
Yeah.
Actually, it may already, no, it isn't on the site. I can tell you. Actually, it is on the site. It's Elliot, Trace, and Sydney. So Elliot, who we love, the
Yeah.
bouncy one. And
yeah.
why is he so bouncy? What is he hiding? And then there's Trace, who is the bodyguard.
For
Mhm.
yeah.
And Sydney, who you won't meet till this book.
Well, yes, which again, you gave us a cliffhanger at the end of The Path to You that I was not prepared for. Like, I figured something was going to have to happen.
Because Maddie is the heroine.
I've been in love with Maddie since book 1. Like,
Yeah. Day one. Day one. We loved her.
Love her. I love this book so much. And Andy Arndt and Jason Clark do the Naughty-O. The Naughty-O.
The Naughty-O. That's a new
All
hashtag.
right.
But I knew, no spoilers, but I knew what was going to happen. I knew what needed to happen. But when I like plotted the whole thing, Joy was going to be this raging bitch who looked down on the Wilders and the girls and just didn't get along, and I was going to hate her, and that is not what happened.
No, like
No, you
in
hate.
To the Path to You, she was like
The best person ever. Like I love Joy.
it's so friendly and just
Yeah, like I
caring.
gave her the name ironically because I was going to hate Joy.
So that was the thing. Like, I didn't want to like her, but you did.
It was horrible.
You made us like her.
I
You
know. And like,
did.
no matter what, she's not going to end up with Elijah because book 4 is Maddie and Elijah, and we want and like Maddie can't hate her either. Like Maddie's like, I love you, I hate you. Like it's and
Matt,
like
It was, you did that so well, though. Like, that's why we read romance, because we need a little angst in our lives. Like, that's not our lives, if that makes sense.
and so the last chapter of Coming Home from Us, when you read it, I I can spoil this part if you'd like.
Yeah,
I don't kill anyone in the last chapter.
that's good.
oh,
But I did
thanks.
but I did cry.
Because Stay Here With Me comes out in August. It comes out on my anniversary,
I
actually.
finished it, I turned it into my editor. It is about East and Lark. So the grumpy handyman and the singer-songwriter who every time that she is seen with another human, they immediately think that she's dating him and must be writing a song about him. So Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And she's what, the best friend of,
Yes,
right?
from
Yeah.
the movie star from A Path to You.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There is a raccoon in my backyard right now.
People are commenting too about your cats. They're like, we're just sort of staying here. We just need
We're
to see
here
how
for the
many cats we
cats.
see.
Yeah, well, the baby's sleep. I'm sorry, she's right here, and then I put a box on the floor.
It's we are just, all over the place, aren't we? Um,
I had to put up security cameras for reasons recently, and so I had to make sure someone is in your backyard. I'm like, what second? Like,
no, that's okay. We want you to be safe.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so I was going to ask this question, but you actually answered this for us. If someone was new to you as a reader, where would they start? And you were sharing that on your website, you actually kind of break it down and help people figure out where they want to start. But before we go into that, I do want to say your books are fabulous because they stand alone and you can read them without having read the previous book. Like,
I spend a lot of time making sure that that is doable. Like, I don't tend to write about the same couple more than one. Like it's like the new adult fantasy series I did was about the same thing, but that's a little different. But no, everything's standalone. I make it so I don't really spoil you what happened in book 1 in book 8 other than you know that they're together.
well, and it's romance. So they got
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's
I
the
don't
rule.
really like remember that time I hit Owen with a car? Like it's yes, I did hit a character with a car. It's fine. He's fine. He's fine.
Karen asked, how long does it take you to write a book?
Um, it like writing or working on the book because working on the book from idea to completion probably 14 months.
Okay.
Drafting a book probably 4 weeks, but that's because I spent 6 months plotting it and weaving it and thinking about it so I could heavy outline it, and then I, you know, spew it out and hopefully it somewhat makes sense because of my outline, and then I spend another month or two editing it. and then it goes to audio and all that. So it's a process. So I can do it because I'm constantly working on 12 things at once.
I was going to say, how many books do you write at one time?
I say only, this, for the next 4 weeks, I'm writing 2 books at once, which I hate to do. And I promised I would never do again, but I'm doing it again. And it's just for a secret project. But I'm usually only drafting 1 book at a time. So like today's release day for 1 book, I got final proofs done for another. So I uploaded it for print and turned it into audio. I sent in my edits for another book last week. I'm plotting another book tomorrow, and I have like 2 books that are in audio, like getting set for audio right now, and 1 book in proofs. And yeah.
So Karen says you're like the superwoman of romance, and we would totally agree. That's
I agree.
really good.
And I did just hire 2 people this past week to help me with things because I have been doing it mostly on my own for a while. And then I hired Brandy to help with my review crew. And now I'm hiring like 2 more people to help with like some of the background stuff.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I should have like I take weekends off from writing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't write on weekends, but I'm starting to do admin on weekends. I'm like, no, we have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You do. You do.
You need a work-life balance.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
I said I was working on it, so.
Good for you. Okay, so At First Meet is out now, everyone. You can get it wherever you buy books. If you aren't a member of Carrie Ann's Patreon, I cannot recommend it enough.
Totally recommend it.
Make sure you sign up for her newsletter because you are really great about rotating books for free or on sale. And you what?
To get you started.
Yeah, to get you started. And then you also have run sales on audio and such off your website, like you did that at the beginning of February, because I picked up a couple audiobooks off your website.
So you chirp with some of my books. Like my backlist is wide in audio. So I actually on my store now, I sell ebooks, audiobooks, and paperback books for my whole series through my Shopify store. So you can get it everywhere directly from me and cheaper. So.
Yeah. I love that. I love that authors have starting to do the direct sales from their website. And it just, I like doing it. I think it, I grab them, they go into BookFunnel and they're there and I have them and they're mine forever. So.
Exactly.
Okay. So I want to take a minute, and if you guys are still hanging out with us, give us a hey so that I can gift some Buzzing About Romance swag your way. And we'll pick a winner. Also, if you haven't signed up, there are links in the description of this video for newsletter, BookBub, and Amazon. Make sure you sign up for those and follow Carrie Ann Ryan all the places. And then if you aren't supporting Buzzing About Romance on Patreon, please consider doing that. We start at $5 a month, and that gets you membership to Drunk Book Club and other exclusive episodes and content. So, and we do swag packs at $10, and you get fun stickers from me. Mike over the weekend made the stickers for March, and they're so cool, you guys. You guys are going to love them.
I have a bunch of stickers too, and I just got bigger ones too that I'm selling. And like one says "Kiss My Ink," and the lips are like this big, and I just love them so much.
I am a sticker person. I love stickers.
Also, there is a cheese sticker. I know we're all shocked.
Yep. Cheese is good. Cheese is life. Yep.
Exactly. You're there. I love you.
I'm there.
Let's see here. Patty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Am I supposed to be helping you? Probably I am.
No, Lindsay's saying she needs a cheese sticker. I believe it's on her website, Lindsay.
Yep, it is.
Under collector's art, and so you go to store and then collector's art and swag.
Okay, Carrie, pick a number between 1 and 10.
6.
Gretchen, you are our winner. Just send me an email to Becky at bookcaseandcoffee.com, and I will send some stuff your way. Carrie Ann, thank you for celebrating your release with us.
Thank you for like having me. And I mean, I'm usually in bed by now, so I'm glad that.
I'm glad you stayed up to hang out with us for release.
Yep.
Um, Anyway, we will be back on, Heather and I will be back on March 10th with
Mhm.
author Golden Angel. You never know what we are going to talk about with her because she does have figging in her historical romances. So there's
I
that.
tell Golden hi for me.
I
Or
will. I absolutely
You
will.
will.
So until next time, everyone, have a great night.